Hey guys, this is Nasar, aka the Real Estate Guru, back again with Natalie from the Kaladi Tax Firm. What we're going to talk about is, what do real estate accountants do? Okay, what do real estate, because people ask me that on Instagram and I'm like, well, they specialize in real estate. From my past experience, if you get an accountant who doesn't specialize in real estate, you're going to have to talk to her, because she's going to have to clean up more than the average, real estate accountants. You're going to have to clean up some stuff because they're going to do things wrong. Now, when I first started doing wholesaling, I didn't know any better, and I was going to, one of those seasonal tax people.
Yeah, they pop up in a trailer in a parking lot for the season.
For the season.
Yeah, and then they're gone.
Something goes wrong, you can't call them another. You just got to wait till the next tax season. All right, so I was dealing with those people, and they were doing everything terribly wrong. I wouldn't say this is back like 11 or 12. In 2013, I was making so much. I got to start hiring somebody who knows what they're doing. But I'm basically telling them things like, no, this should be taxed at ordinary income, because I heard somebody else say it, not because I knew. I heard be taxed. This is that, and they're not telling me anything. They're not telling me that. Well, I need these documents, that documents, whatever the case may be. So anyway, that was a mess, and fortunately, I got that stuff cleaned up. Natalie, tell us, what do real estate accountants do?
Yeah, so it's kind of a broad term. An accountant can be sort of anything from someone who's more of a bookkeeper to a CPA, an EA. Basically, there's a lot of certifications in this field. A quick rundown on the difference. A CPA is someone who may or may not specialize in tax, right? But I think that's the most common credential people know about. It means they went to school for 5 years, passed a really hard test. An enrolled agent didn't go to school. They took a test just with the IRS, but they tend to specialize in tax. And then there's people who don't have either, but they're just very knowledgeable, been in the industry a long time. So in addition to a credential, look at someone's experience and what they've done and sort of their track record. If you, Google them and nothing comes up online, or like you said, they're there seasonally, steer clear of that. So a real estate accountant to me would be someone that's what they specialize in. And I always tell people, when it comes to your taxes, it's like going to the doctor, right? Like if you've got a cold, you can go to a general practitioner and they'll handle it for you. But if you've got a broken bone, you're going to go to like a surgeon who can handle that. That's not going to be your GP. It's the same thing here. Once you really get into real estate, you want someone who knows and specializes in the tax of that, because at a normal tax firm, they're going to work with every industry. So if they were talking to someone 10 minutes ago who owned a petting zoo, and now they're talking to you about your real estate, do you think they're an expert in both of those things? Probably not. So find out if they're specialized in real estate, if they really know and focus on that, and see if they invest in real estate too, because some of the biggest mistakes I see are just because the accountant didn't know what you were doing, like what the transaction was. Like if they have no idea what a subject to deal is, they won't know how to report it for your taxes. So just ask them some general real estate questions, and if they kind of glaze over and they don't know what you're talking about, just bounce, just find someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just not with real estate, just not with accountants, it's also with attorneys. I had an attorney do a trust all wrong.
Yeah. But
with any industry, you'll find people who, they'll just take anybody's money. As long as you give them the money, they'll take your money, And the guys, the people that I know that say, hey, look, I focus on this, not only they're more successful, but they have more peaceful life. So, all right, the real estate accountant. So if I'm looking for one, right? If I say, hey, let me talk to Natalie, but I want some other options. Like, do I go to Google and type in real estate accountants, or do I go to LinkedIn? What do you think is a good way to find? And what should I? And you said talk about their experience. Like, should I ask them, hey, how many of your clients are real estate, or do you know about real estate? Yeah,
that's a tricky one. So I would say, a really good spot, I think, to find people is on Bigger Pockets, or like any of the really active real estate sites, just because you can see their experience. You can see if someone's only answered 2 questions. If someone's answered 5,000 questions about real estate taxes, they probably have some kind of idea what's going on. It just gives you a track record. Talking to other local investors, things like that. LinkedIn's hard because there's no vetting to it, right? Like they can say whatever they want on there, you don't know. But look around. I always recommend talking to several different firms. Firms and accountants work differently. So some people really like working virtually. Other people kind of need that hand holding and they want to sit down in person and have you explain everything in front of them. So find someone that works for you. And then I would just ask them a few general questions, or if they invest in real estate. I wouldn't get into the nitty-gritty details. I've had people ask me literally like, how much real estate do you own? What's it worth? What do you, don't go that deep, but find out what they've done, like what kind of deals they've been involved with, or what kind of clients they've worked with. Like ask about maybe the most complex real estate client they've worked with and sort of what that involved. And my kind of go-to vetting question for an accountant is ask them if your rentals qualify for the QBI or the 199A deduction. This is something a lot of people get wrong. So for the record, they probably do. So if your accountant didn't give you that, check your tax return. If you have rental income, no QBI deduction, ask your accountant why.
So yeah, and I went on LinkedIn, I found the guy, and he was okay, but he was not good at all. Nice guy, he just wasn't good at what he said he does. He didn't, it just wasn't good, and I had to explain certain things to him, and he didn't stay current with tax stuff and all, so that was a terrible experience, but nice guy though, but just, he didn't know what he was doing, and then that's when I said, I got with you, but you had to clean up some of his stuff. I've been through so many accounts. I want to say I had one person who didn't even include properties on my tax return, so then the next account I had to, include stuff like that. It's you want to make sure you get somebody who's good. Me personally, I don't like the big firms because I got sent to a big firm and I was just a number.
Yeah.
And if they have all these different plans, and if you're not on platinum level plan, they really don't care about you. So it's like, no, I don't like the big firms. And now with your quarterly consultations, right? If somebody hires you,
yep.
Do they talk to you? Do they got an assistant, or do you have an assistant or other people under you? How does that work?
So mostly it's me. I have a tax manager who's an experienced CPA, and he's more specialized in sort of fire, early retirement, creative retirement account planning. So depending on what their call is based on, will determine who they talk to, sort of what the focus point is and who's sort of a better fit. But if it's real estate, it's generally me, and I'm sort of who oversees your stuff through the year, so that at the year end, because that's what gets really hard, is at a big firm, you'll hear people say, oh, Mark Kohler is my CPA, he does my taxes. Like, he hasn't done a tax return in 20 years. Like, that dude owns the firm, he's got a bunch of people right out of college working for him. You might talk to him on a call, and then he's handed it off to sort of his little worker bees. So it's important to make sure you've got good communication with whoever you're working with, and that they phone calls and sort of what you talk about translates to your return. You don't want to get lost in the mix.
That's very important. You do not want to get lost in the mix. This stuff is important because I've had the IRS come knock on my door before.
Yeah.
So I had them come knock on my door before, didn't know what they were talking about, and it was for payroll tax.
Yep. Yeah. And
from speaking to real estate specific accountants, they said, for whatever reason, it's kind of common. It's more common, not kind of common, more common for the IRS to come knock on real estate investors' doors for payroll quarterly tax. And I one of those people that experienced it, and I was shook. I didn't know what to do. Yeah. And this is before I was a client of yours or whatever, so I didn't know what to do. So what I'm saying is best to have your stuff right in the beginning if you can. Okay, so, all right, real estate accountants, she told you what to, you don't have to ask their net worth and how many properties they own and what price they bought them at, and, you don't have to get into the details of that for them to specialize in real estate. Now, Bigger Pockets, some of you guys know I am a blogger for them. I've done some big videos for them. I'm on episode 116 on the Bigger Pockets podcast. That's a great site. I see you commenting on stuff all the time. Yeah, it's a great site to find tax professionals who actually know what they're talking about. Just find the right one. The reason why I liked Natalie, and I tell other people, they ask me about my tax accountant, is I can understand what she's saying. In the past, I would get some 50, 60-year-old guy, and I had no clue of what he's talking about, what words, he's not explaining anything, and it's like, so what do you want me to do? Like, what do you want me to do? What do I do? Because they're not explaining to me, but that person those people are not the best fit for me, and I'm not the best fit for them. And that's why I had, in the past, some accountants had to fire me because we just wasn't a good fit, so, and it happens as part of life. So, Natalie, if somebody wants to contact you, how do they do that?
Yeah, the best way is through the website, which is just kolotax.com. That's KOLOTAX. You can find me on Instagram at Kaladi Tax Boss and on Facebook at Kaladi Tax and Consulting.
There you have it. I'm just going to put all my social medias right here on the screen for me. If you guys want to follow me, also you can go into the descriptions. and the website realestateguru.com. Just going to put that on the screen. So therefore, I wish you much success in your life and your business. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for joining us. Peace.